Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a special Wednesday Hump Day edition of the Uninformed Fan. We got NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, and Gap Wedge Wednesday coming at you live today. We got a jam-packed show. We're going to get right into it. The formalities have gone. We're diving straight into it. It's NBA action. I know Jeffrey's good. I'm good. We're all here. The dog's a little upset over here, but we'll get to that later. But let's get right into it. Let's just get right into it.
Let's go.
My toe's feeling better, by the way.
Thank God. The gout is
subsiding. You know, we're not getting into it. We're not getting right into it. Correct. I actually messaged my doctor, and I was like, hey, woo! You know, I have an appointment tomorrow, but... And she's like, yeah, here. So she gave me something. I don't know what it was, but of course, my wife...
Like a general physician? That's the person who, like
my family doctor.
Okay. Have you had the same doctor forever?
Yes.
Since you were like a kid?
No. I've had the same doctor since I moved to Orlando, though.
Okay.
Which has been about 10 years. So, yeah.
Continue.
They know me pretty well. So she sent over this little pill, and of course my wife, being the wonderful wife that she is, and so concerned about my health in every single way and what I put into my body and what I consume, she reads the warning label on this drug that they give me, and she goes, you do realize that this could kill you, right? This could kill you.
Anything fun on those warning labels besides that, you know?
Yeah,
do not operate heavy machinery?
Nah, you got none of the good stuff. None of the good stuff. Only death. And I go, you know what, Bianca? I go, you could go outside and eat a leaf and die, right? I mean, there's everything. Just stop living in the bubble, man. Let me have it. Then she gives me the look as I'm snarfing down a cannoli last night, which is one of my newfound favorite treats, a little chocolate chip.
From where?
This one was from over off Tilden, that New York deli over there. I can't remember the name of it.
Parati's?
Yes, that one. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. I'll tell you one
but that sandwich shop is the best in itself.
It's a very good place. Very good place. The cannolis
chip selection is crazy.
The cannolis are middle of the road in my opinion, though. But you know what? Who has a really good cannoli, and it's going to blow your mind? Whole Foods.
Really?
Whole Foods. Plentiful chocolate chips in there. Good taste, good structure, no complete crumble. I might have to start doing cannoli reviews.
I feel like they have more manpower over there at Whole Foods than they do at Parati's. Parati's, there's 4 people total in the entire operation.
Parati's should be made with love.
It is made with love.
Yeah, I didn't feel it. I did taste it.
Okay.
But anyway, we're
real quick. Speaking of wives, I saw something. Then I was concerned. I forgot to ask you about this in the pre-show. I saw your wife posted 2 tickets available to the F1 race in Miami.
Correct.
Were those just 2 extras that you have? Are you not
going
anymore?
No, we're not going Friday. Just the Friday tickets.
Gotcha.
We're not going for the first one of. For those you don't know, not this weekend, but the weekend after, I am going to Miami for the weekend. We're gonna try to get the laptop going, so hopefully that will be good to go. But yes, so Friday is practice all day long. Not really much going on those days. Saturday is also practice. So you got practice 1 and 2 on Friday. You got practice 3 and qualifying on Saturday. So we're going to go Saturday early for that, kind of scope the grounds a little bit, figure out where we want to go. We're finding that it's very, very divided, right? You know, when you think you go to an arena or something like that, you can move around. Like, no, there's like ticketed areas for every single little place, which is kind of weird. But when you think about it, you pay X amount of dollars for the tickets, which are expensive. Then they want you to pay $1,000 a person to be able to walk into a certain area. So we're kind of getting put off by that a little bit, but we're gonna keep the vibes high. It's still gonna be a good time. We'll figure it out.
Vibes.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it.
We're not gonna do an intro or a pre-show. We talked for 5 minutes about bullshit. You know, here we are.
Yeah, it's actually 4:30. You know, we got on a little late, but let's talk about a little NBA. We had quite some shocks going on here, and we're gonna start off with the Bucks Heat. And the Heat took down the Bucks again and had put them to the brink of elimination. Jimmy Buckets. Absolutely in fuego, and it was the Jimmy Butler show, and that was it. The next closest, Butler put up 56. The next closest was Adebayo with 15 points, And he was in foul trouble for most of the game. Didn't play a whole lot. But Jimmy Buckets was just absolutely insane. I also thought it funny. I know I get a lot of my information from the Score app. And if you look on the Score app and you look at Jimmy Butler's picture, it still has him in like dreadlocks.
The long hair.
I mean, what was that? His rookie year or something?
Looking like Rick James up in that mug, bro.
I mean,
crazy.
Brook Lopez, once again, as I said, is the force that Brook Lopez is. 36 points, 11 boards. Giannis with 26, 10-13, recording the triple-double. Are the Bucks in trouble here? Are they done? Can they come back from this? Vegas doesn't seem to think so, but they're not going to give you good odds to say that they are.
I mean, so, first of all, Timothy Butler, I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize to my Heat fans as well, too, because I have dogged y'all for the past 2 weeks, and I have just completely trashed your team, your organization. There is a lot of bias in there, right?
I don't think you trashed the organization.
You know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Well,
listen, I'll admit there's a lot of bias in there. I've been a Magic fan my whole life. We've been stomped on by the Heat repeatedly. I've always had to hear their fan base and their fans and everything. And yeah, it does wear on you after a while. So I do apologize about that and for the words that I said. To Jimmy Butler, probably the greatest single-handed playoff performance I've ever seen in my life. 56 points. I had the pleasure of watching the entire thing. And it was crazy watching the game, too, because you're watching it and you're like, okay, well, Jimmy went off for 24 in the first. And they're losing. Like, there's no way the Bucks lose this game. And even when you get into the fourth quarter, you're like, oh, okay. Like, the Bucks are still up 11 points.
I said Bucks by 15 watching the game.
4 minutes left. And I have Bucks. I had Bucks minus 7.5. I watched the first quarter, and I go, double down. There's no way. Like, they don't have the firepower. There's no way one guy. There's no way that the Bucks would allow one person to go out there and beat them as well, too. Like, Mike Budenholzer is not doing that, right? He's not going to allow Jimmy Butler to go off for 56 and just completely dominate the game without running some double teams at him or trying to get the ball out of his hand. That can't be, right? Sure enough, he allowed Jimmy Butler to just completely take over. I do think you'll see a different strategy going forward, and I just don't think Miami has the firepower. I mean, you're going to rely so heavily on Max Strus and, Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent and these guys to knock down shots. It's just in Milwaukee. I don't see it happening. And then you get to go back to Miami, and you're thinking if you're Milwaukee, I'm not losing game 6 in Miami, and then you're going back home. You're like, we're definitely not losing game 7 back here. I thought Budenholzer definitely mismanaged the end of that game a little bit by allowing that humongous run without calling a timeout, just kind of sat on it and was caught up in the moment of watching everything happening. But big props to Miami. They are one game away from moving on. And it's absolutely incredible. Giannis played great. Lopez was fantastic. They need a couple other guys to step up, obviously, and play a little bit better tonight.
Yeah, it for me personally, it brought back flashbacks of, Michael Jordan's 63-point domination game in the playoffs that he put up. And it was absolutely, and, the only thing I can think of is that we, once again, as the Bulls, let Jimmy Butler go to keep Zach LaVine.
Well, you actually traded for Zach LaVine.
Correct. Yes, correct. That's what I'm saying. So we made that trade there. But Justice, absolutely, you know what? My apologies. You have been trying to tell us. We just haven't seen it, man. It's like we talked about with the Bulls team, right? It's just the games are there and they're not. And I think we're seeing that a lot in the playoffs here, which is really, really surprising to me. You see some teams that just show up and then other teams that don't show up at all. And then the next game, it's a blowout the other way. It's almost like it's scripted. But
regardless of what happens the rest of the series, I've been extremely impressed by the Miami Heat and how tough and hard they've played, and especially with Jimmy Butler individually as well too.
Well, I'll tell you, Eric Spoelstra is one of the best coaches that there is, and he's proven that over and over again. Yes, he got the 2 titles, but they were with LeBron. But the man is a very, very good coach, and you don't stay that tenure that long under a man like Pat Riley that you don't know exactly what you're doing and putting your players in the right positions to make the plays and make the shot. So, shout out to the entire Heat organization for continuing. Hopefully, like I said, I don't know. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. The fact that Vegas has only given you plus 120 for the Bucks to come back and win the series, and Miami to win the series is only minus 156. It just shows you that there's some sketchy stuff about to happen right here, boys. I could easily see a Game 7 here for sure. On the other side of the coast, on the West Coast, we had the Grizzlies, Lakers. The Grizzlies 111, the Lakers 117 in overtime. Bane for the Grizzlies puts up 36. Brooks continues to fall into his shell. Austin Reeves leads the Lakers with 23 points. However, LeBron James had a monster game at 22, 20, and 7. And the biggest surprise once again for me is that the Lakers won and Anthony Davis only put up 12 points again. Now, I watched the entire first half of the show. I did not make it through the end. I did see the highlights. LeBron taking over at the end of the game. He did what he needed to do to help it. There was no support outside of Reeves, it appeared. But I cannot believe that Anthony Davis just continues to shrink in these moments. And they're going to get past the Grizzlies. I think we can agree there. But moving forward, that kind of stuff is not going to work against teams moving forward in the Western Conference.
And Anthony Davis has been a shell of himself. It's like he'll turn it on and turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. It's very back and forth, and it's just completely inconsistent. And they're blaming it on health. I have a tough time blaming it on health because I see you play so well every other game, right? So it's like you have
he just put up 32
next night. It's just like an effort thing almost to me, which is crazy. He did have a big tip. Also, shout out D'Angelo Russell, knocked down 3 threes in a row, really completely turned that game. The Grizzlies were up. It was so stagnant. It was one of the most boring games that I was watching between the third and beginning of the fourth quarters. There was no offense. It was not good basketball at all. And then all of a sudden, D'Angelo Russell hits a 3. He gets a step back. They get one in transition. And all of a sudden, the game completely shifted. The crowd was back into it. LeBron is probably the most passive game I've ever seen from LeBron offensively. He just was not as aggressive as I'm used to seeing him. And you can see it in the stat line. But I do know that he's also taken on the role of playing that big down low as well. We talk about how LeBron can play every position on the floor. He is playing power forward right now. Even when Anthony Davis has gone out, they haven't turned to Gabriel or Bamba. They've sort of just rode LeBron at that 5 spot and let him go against Jaren Jackson. And, 20 rebounds, it's an incredible performance. Obviously, he makes the layup at the very end with time running out to tie the game, which was incredible to get it over Jaren Jackson as well, too. And then has the big and one as well. For me, if I'm the Lakers going forward, you need to end this right now. You need to end this tonight. You need to get out of there. I'm sorry, not tonight, tomorrow, I think it is. But you need to get out of there and be done with this series because you need to heal. You're old. These guys are playing so many minutes right now. You're going to go into a series against either the Warriors or the Kings that you cannot play like this. What they're going through right now, obviously Brandon Clark being down, Steven Adams being down for the Grizzlies is a big benefit right now for LA. But going forward, you're going to be playing teams that are pretty much at full strength, and you cannot play like this in the next series. So I think they need to end it as soon as they can. I think they need rest. And they just need AD to get healthy. I don't know if that's what it is, but I'd like to see a lot more LeBron James and Austin Reeves high pick and rolls, running the 2-man game back and forth. They both have jump shots. They both can shoot. They both pop. It just adds a different dynamic to it. Anthony Davis, when they're literally dribbling the ball he's just coming off across half court to come set a pick. He's setting a slow pick with a slow roll that nobody's respecting. It's just the offense is very stagnant. It's not really working. So they got to go back to the drawing board and figure something out. I did find it funny how biased you were, because you text me and you said, oh, I can't believe that, that LeBron James wasn't even the leading scorer, but they have his picture as a top performer on the Score app, right? And you go, let's look at this bias that they have toward LeBron.
I never said a bias. I never said a bias.
That was what you were implying. There was a bias there.
Well, I mean, words can have many meanings.
Words can have many meanings?
Yes.
I guess in the English language, maybe you're correct. But your meaning for it was that look at the bias that they have toward LeBron going on right now.
Well, we all know that the Score app.
He said this about the Score app, and he goes, you can look at any other game. They always have the leading scorer there for the top performers. And I go, look at the game from earlier tonight. And sure enough, Giannis is on there when Lopez had gone for 36 or 38, whatever it was.
Just proves my point. More
like,
bias to the superstars. I mean, you got over here, on the Clippers game, you have Mason Plumlee as their top scorer or top, and he didn't even have the top point. So maybe it's just something that I haven't looked on. But yeah, It just seemed odd to me because I guess usually when I look at it, I assume that was the top scorer, because it says top performer. I guess it doesn't say top scorer. I don't know. I retracted it. I said, okay, yeah, I'm wrong once again. It.
I don't know if it was a full retraction, but it was, there was a little bit of a go around right there as well too. But yes, Lakers now up 3-1. I believe they play. Is it tomorrow night?
No, they play tonight.
Oh, they are playing tonight.
Yeah, they play tonight.
4 games tonight, man. Holy smokes!
Yep. We're gonna break them down in a minute. So Tuesday we had the Hawks and the Celtics last night, and I mean, give me a break, man. The Celtics just did not take the Atlanta Hawks seriously. They came out lackluster. They were lackluster the whole game. Tatum with 19 points. Brown balled out again. I don't know why he put the mask back on. I guess you were saying his mama told him to put it back on.
Mama told him to put it back on. I don't know.
But I mean, just balling out 35 points. At the end of the game, as soon as they scored that and the time was left, I looked over at Bianca and I said, "There's too much time." In the NBA, that's just too much time. It's kind of like when you score a field goal or something and you give the ball back to Brady or Burrow with a minute left. I mean, you just know prevent doesn't prevent anything, right? And these defenses, and Jaylen Brown gave him a little cushion because he looked like he was going to drive to score, but then he just stopped, pulled up to 3, and just buried it, man. And then the ending play I thought was also very, very questionable. You brought in Pat Williams. I think you should have utilized the little, just throw it up towards the rim, let him try to get it, to try to get everybody else out from underneath the rim. Instead, you
Williams?
What's that?
Are you talking about Robert Williams?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Robert Williams for the Celtics. Big body down there, has great ups.
Gotcha.
Like I said, get everybody else out, and even if it's one-on-one, I trust that he can get higher than the next guy next to him. The guy is just a freak of nature when it comes to that. Instead, they do multiple pick and rolls. They get Jason Tatum out on the 3-point arc with a half a second to catch and shoot, and that's your shot to win the game. And, of course, it fell short. Very, very contested shot, very, very tough shot, and the Celtics go down. And, the city of Boston has to just be beside themselves right now because again I keep going back to the same thing that I've seen with the Bulls. It's like, which team is going to show up? And throughout the playoffs, we've had numerous times. We've had the Knicks Cavaliers where the Knicks just blow out the Cavs. The Cavs didn't seem to show up. Then the next game, the Cavs blow out the Knicks. They don't seem to show up. I don't understand what's going on with these games. Very few games outside of the Warriors Kings have been completely contested throughout the whole game, right? There hasn't been any complete blowouts. But shout out to Trae Young again for hitting the dagger. 38 points. Collins right behind him with 22. And keep in mind, they were out with one of their starters this game for bumping the ref. What was his name?
Dejounte Murray.
Yeah, I mean, Dejounte Murray didn't even play. I mean, give me a break. I don't know. I think that the Celtics are going to have to regroup. I still think the Celtics win this series. I think that they come back in Atlanta, and I think they finish it out there.
Absolutely, and there's no happier team right now than the Philadelphia 76ers as they sit at home with their feet up, try to get Joel Embiid healthy and get ready to go for the Celtics whenever they decide to finish off the Hawks.
Absolutely. Then finally on the other side, we had a couple other games here. We had excuse me, pardon me one second. I lost my little notes there. Timberwolves and the Nuggets, 109-112. Denver finally puts them away, but they held out throughout the whole game. Anthony Edwards, 29 points. Karl Anthony Towns put up a 26. On the other side, Murray, 35. Joker with 28-17. I probably watched the majority of that game. I actually stayed up pretty late last night. Pretty late. It was definitely past the 12 mark. And I just... Watching Joker play, to me, is like watching playground basketball. The guy, it looks like he's flopping all over the place. He's throwing shots up. I mean, obviously there's a game to his play style, but I'm just saying, it just reminds me, he's just out there playing backyard ball, bro. He just doesn't care. He's just whatever.
A method to his madness for sure. I thought, listen, congrats to Denver. I thought Minnesota played this series well, and I know people are going to give me, a hard time for saying that I thought Minnesota would win this series, but that was just my call. I don't think, listen, to be 100% transparent, I didn't think that the Nuggets are going to go to the Western Conference Finals or win the NBA championship for that matter. Because of that, I decided to take a shot in the dark and say that the Timberwolves would win the series. They really were in every single game except for game one. Was the only game they weren't in. Obviously, they win game three. It's the old gentleman's sweep, if you will, over here, 4-1 that they go down. But listen, I think they got a lot to look forward to going forward, but they do have to figure out that Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert dynamic, because it just does not work with both of them on the court at the same time. So it'll be very interesting to see what they do this offseason. If I was them, I would get rid of Karl Anthony Towns for a nice package. I think he would flourish somewhere else. But at the same time, it's tough because just him and Anthony Edwards together, I feel like, are a fantastic pair in terms of talent-wise and the way that the game of basketball is played nowadays. So it's a tough one, but you just took on Gobert's contract. They're not working together. Got to ship one out, and unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be Karl Anthony Towns.
Absolutely. So another team that we're going to talk about after the end of their season is the Los Angeles Clippers and whether or not they should be blown up. 130 to 136. The Clippers, to me though, played another complete team effort basketball. I mean, once you look down their scores, it's a very team effort. A lot of scores, scoring spread around. Westbrook had an absolute great series outside of it. I believe one game when he was Westbrook. He had completely showed up. Shows that he still has it. And, you look back at this team, and Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, neither one played again at the end of the season. Came out this morning, Kawhi has a torn meniscus. But, you just can't keep these guys healthy. And, you're spending a lot of money. And I realize that, as far as the owners, that they don't really care about that. They're still making money through revenue sharing and whatnot. But at some point, you got to give the fans what they want. I mean, the Lakers continue to get big-name superstars. And for whatever reason, they stay healthier, I guess, this year. But, I mean, what do you do after that? I mean, obviously, the Sun side real quick, Devin Booker putting up 47, Kevin Durant 31. It's really, when you have those type of people, when you can kick out, Durant drives in, kick out, Booker is just nailing threes from all over the place, driving to the hole, making shots, Chris Paul the facilitator. That team is going to be a severe problem, which is why I picked them to go ahead and go. But let's get a little reflection on the game first, and then we can talk a little bit what we should do with the Clippers.
I mean, the game was the game. They're fighting an uphill battle when you have to rely on Mason Plumlee and Norman Powell and I don't know who else, Terrence Mann, whatever, like to score points for you and compete with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. It's an uphill battle. Now, I will say the Clippers were down by about 21 points at one point in the beginning of the fourth quarter, and they did not quit. They did not stop fighting. They clawed their way back. I think Ty Lue did as good of a job as he can. I think going forward, they're fine. They just got to be healthy. We saw the dynamic work with Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard on the floor at the same time. I think you stick with that. I think you maybe add a piece or two if you need to, but I would run the exact same team back out there. And I think that when they do, they'll be a top 2 seed in the West next year with that talent that they have on that team.
If they can stay healthy.
Yeah, unfortunately, they got hurt, which has been the story of Kawhi, for a while now, and that sucks. But Paul George is the same way. Paul George has been hurt as well too, going in. So listen, if they can stay healthy, they're a great team. But
Joey just pointed out, our producer as well, that the teams have come back 13 times from a 3-1, but have unsuccessful. So they're 38% chance. They got a 38% chance of coming back from 3-1. But not for the Clippers. Their season is completely done. They will go back to the drawing board in the offseason and try to figure it out. So speaking of the games tonight, we do have the Knicks-Cavs. Knicks are looking to close it out in Cleveland tonight. Cleveland is a 5.5-point favorite. Do the Knicks get it done tonight, Jeffrey, or do we go on to a Game 6?
I think it'll be a really close game, but give me Cleveland in this game. I do think Donovan Mitchell will finally show up, hopefully. He's been MIA. Put him on a milk carton. I haven't seen him.
You might want to check the stat lines, because I think Jeremy pointed out last game that he's averaging 23 points.
He's averaging 22 points. He averaged almost 29 in the regular season.
Well, they definitely got to step it up, that's for sure. Going against stiffer competition. After that one, 7:30, we got the Lakers and the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are 4-point favorite at home. The Lakers can close it out on the road again, the same as the Knicks. Does LeBron, your GOAT, and Anthony Davis get it done on the road in Memphis?
No, give me the Grizzlies tonight.
Ooh, we are going back to L.A. for Game 6.
I think if Anthony Davis is mentally checked out of a 2-1 series lead at home where they can go up 3-1, it's going to be really tough for me to think that he's going to get up for a game where they're 3-1 and have a chance to go back home and close it out.
But
they should.
But if he wins, he gets to not play.
Which is what he wants.
I don't know. I don't know. We shall see. And then we have the Heat Bucks. Now, to me, this one is a little crazy, right? So the Heat can close out the Bucks. We all think that the Bucks are probably going to win this game, but the Bucks by 12. Whew.
I think the Bucks will probably win by 25 tonight.
25. You heard it here first on the Uninformed Fan. Jeffrey and his NBA picks do not miss. Bucks by 25. And then the game that we're all going to want to see that hopefully we can stay awake for, the Warriors-Kings, series tied 2-2. We are in Sacramento. Short drive for the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are favored by 1.5 in this game. Who's taking the advantage after this one, Jeffrey? Are the Warriors going to undo their road woes and pull out a road win and take the series? Or is Sacramento going to do it?
This is definitely a tough one because if you look at it, just on paper, you're going to say Sacramento at home for sure. Light the beam. It's going to be going crazy. Jam over at the local bar, who's a diehard, Kings fan, is just going to be out of his mind tonight, which is always annoying to see. But I don't know. De'Aaron Fox broke his finger. He is doubtful to play tonight. Do the other guys step up? How does that work? De'Aaron Fox has been so amazing this series.
Huge.
Really, really a superstar that we've seen come to fruition. Give me Golden State tonight. Give me Golden State tonight. Give me Golden State to win again at home and close it out the next 2 in a row.
I will 100% agree with you. If Golden State wins this game here in Sacramento, it's over. This is a must-win for the Sacramento Kings. You cannot go back to Golden State in a closeout game. No way. If your only shot at this point is Game 7 at home, in my opinion.
I said the humbleness of, which it's very tough to say, but the humbleness of Draymond Green saying, listen, you need to take me out of the starting lineup and let Kevon Looney play. The team's playing much better the way it is, yada, yada, yada. I think you only get those moments of brevity sometimes in life, very few and far between. And I just think that's a rallying cry for them. They figured something out, and I think they run off 4 in a row.
Okay. Because they were down 2-0, right? Yeah. So then we're going to go ahead and preface also game tomorrow, back in Atlanta, Hawks, Celtics. Celtics favored by 7 in Atlanta. I'm sorry, 6 in Atlanta. That is the only game on, obviously, tomorrow as well. So all eyes
8 o'clock?
8:30.
8:30.
All eyes will be on this game. I think that the Boston Celtics come out in a fit of rage. I don't think that they blow the doors off of the Atlanta Hawks, but I think that they get it done in Atlanta because they do not want to go back to a Game 7 in the Garden.
Will come out with authority. Give me the Celtics, absolutely. My only question about this game is with the NFL draft on, how many TVs in the bar are dedicated to that one game? Like, is it even on at the local pub? Or is it just every single TV with NFL draft?
I think you absolutely put the game on. I mean, let's be honest.
Okay? I think it's on like one TV in the corner. You know what I mean? Like everything else. No, I don't know, bro.
I think it'll be prevalent. You got to,
You think so?
Overall, the NFL draft is absolutely boring, right? You have hours and hours of coverage for literally, if you want just the time that the names are called, for about 10 minutes of action. You have like 8 hours of coverage.
Yes, bro. It's so much fun because you have every person out there and everybody's wearing their jersey or their team. They're like, oh, we're 4 picks away. I really got this guy circled on my big board right now. I think he's going to fall to us. Oh, man, you pair this guy with this guy, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, man, shut up. Anyway.
This is the great transition. So we'll see how many TVs are on for those Celtics games. I do believe, especially depending on what bar you're at and the clientele.
Yes.
Boston has a pretty good annoying following, so I'm pretty sure it'll be on everywhere. So speaking of the draft is on tomorrow night. We have a lot of stuff going on. We're going to break down the Aaron Rodgers trade. We're going to talk a little bit about the draft and get a little NFL action here. Very briefly. And then we're going to get into our boys, the Burrito Boys, with Gap Wedge Wednesday. So
might be a Burrito Boy today. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get both. Oh no, okay, we are going to get both.
Yeah,
nice.
they're in there. They're in there. So Aaron Rodgers trade. So let's get it. The Jets get Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Pick number 15 overall this year.
Yeah.
2023 fifth round pick.
Uh-huh.
The Packers get pick number 13.
The pick swap this year. Yeah.
Yep. 2023 second round pick, 42. Sixth round pick.
It's going to be a first rounder next year.
A conditional 2024 second round pick that will become a first round if he plays 65% of the plays. So that's what we know he's going to get that.
Yeah.
So you got so you got 2 number 1 picks, a second round pick, and a 6th round pick.
I don't count a 3-pick swap as a first round pick, to be honest. I think that's just a wash.
Which one are you talking about?
This year, they just swapped picks this year.
There's that's what I'm saying. He's got three picks. Second, I'm not counting the 13th pick. I'm counting the 2023 second round pick, 6th round pick, and another first round pick in 2024.
They got a first, a second, and a 6th for Aaron Rodgers.
Literally what I just said.
I said it better. Anyway, first, second, and a 6th for Aaron Rodgers. They get. Which I think is great. I think the compensation is perfect for both sides. I'm glad this deal finally got done. We can stop hearing about it. Aaron Rodgers could stop doing ayahuasca and actually get back out there and start to play some football. That'll be very good to see. I know you have to be very, very excited. Tell me your feelings right now. After just watching a guy beat you like a drum over and over again for.
I'm a little conflicted about it, to be 100% honest with you. I'm a little conflicted about it. And I'll tell you why. Because I believe that the Bears are on the up and up. And I do believe that they are on the move to become a very, very good team in the NFC North. And it pisses me off that he is scared now and running away out of the NFC North because he knows the NFC North now has competition. Where the Minnesota Vikings are good, the Detroit Lions are good, the Chicago Bears are coming right back up.
Yep.
I need to get out of Dodge because this division is no longer secure. Now, he is going over to another division, right, that is very, very stacked as well. However, he's moving outside of the little bean town of Green Bay, and he's going to the Big Apple, where I'm really curious to see how this hippie mentality works. I'm really After that, though, I'm absolutely elated that I no longer have to face him. But knowing our luck, knowing the Packers, Jordan Love will become the next Tom Brady, and we will fall right back into a routine. But hopefully not. We'll see what happens. Overall, very excited, but I would have loved to have seen him get beat by the Bears a few times before he exited. So
that take. He's running from competition. Aaron Rodgers is. Seeing everybody else around him getting better. He said, I'm out of here. Get me over to the NFC East where I can play Bill Belichick, the Dolphins, and the Bills. You know, that should be some good battles over there.
I don't know if that's necessarily a weaker conference.
One of those teams is taking a step back this year, right?
It's got to be the Patriots. It's got to be the Patriots.
But we think that the Jets are going to be a playoff team, probably, right? Like
it's Super Bowl or bust.
Playoffs. I think they'll be a playoff team.
Super Bowl or bust.
We got to walk before we can crawl over here, New York Jets fans, right?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When the Tampa,
I say this with a Bucs hat on.
I was gonna say when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers signed Tom Brady, it was Super Bowl or bust. They signed all these players. When the Rams went out and signed all those players, got Matthew Stafford, it was Super Bowl or bust. The New York Jets, who knows what window Aaron Rodgers has as far as how long he's even going to play, but it's Super Bowl or bust for the New York Jets. But I will say this: if he does come out and he has a great year, and that team is firing on all cylinders like we think it will be. They have a top defense. They have a great stout running back, wide receivers. They have all of the ingredients to make a dominant team, right? If he does that and he actually wins or comes close, you don't have any worries about Aaron Rodgers retiring in the next 5 years, in my opinion. I think that he will stay there, which makes the compensation, like you just said, absolutely fair. You're putting him in a 2-year window, 2024. You got those picks, but even if he does after 2 years, you're back in first-round draft territory. But I absolutely agree. I believe it's Super Bowl or bust for the New York Jets.
If I'm a Bills fan, this is what hits me the hardest is Bills fans, because to me, you just became the third best team in that division. And that's
I think
really
the Bills,
to swallow.
Josh Allen is going to determine that division. And is he going to improve his quarterback play from last year? He did make a lot of little mistakes that we didn't see out of Josh Allen the years before. Or is he going to continue to regress a little bit, become a little bit more human? The biggest wild card in that division to me is the Miami Dolphins. I mean, that team is loaded as well. If Tua's healthy,
Davion Howard, they got the defensive line, Chubb. Now you put Jalen Ramsey on the other side. You got the weapons. They got offensive line. They've drafted well with Tua just staying healthy. I mean, That is a problem of a football team.
That's a problem of a division outside of the Patriots. And we
Crazy.
haven't said that in a long time. I would have the Patriots are the worst team in that division. That's crazy to me. But, eventually the magic runs out, Billy. It's just welcome to the real world. That's just how it happens. So, yes, the Aaron Rodgers trade is done. So we look on to the Jordan Love future for all my Green Bay fans out there. Hopefully, he does. Hopefully he sucks. Sorry.
Kid's got schputz.
Yeah, hopefully he sucks. There has been a little bit of, speaking of the draft, and there has been a lot of rumors going around about who's doing what. It turns out that our general managers, I wanted to say Ryan Pace. I almost just said that. No. Our general manager's trade with the Carolina Panthers turns out that it looks like it's a complete blessing because the Houston Texans have rumored to be shopping the number 2 pick as they don't want any of their remaining quarterbacks. For whatever reason, they want to continue to be a poverty franchise, or maybe they're just holding out for next year for your boy from USC. And they are not getting a lot of calls for the number 2 pick.
Well, the problem is that it's not just Caleb Williams from USC. You have 5 quarterbacks next year that are all, in my opinion, better than the quarterbacks that are in this draft right now. It will be interesting to see. Did you mention the Will Levis thing where
not yet?
The draft odds changed?
Not yet. I was gonna talk about this one first about how it just showed that there was a lot of questions of whether that deal got done too early. Whether you should have held out for later, and this just kind of proves that the man is playing chess when everybody's playing checkers. It looks like he might actually trade out of the number 9 pick as well, which is very, very interesting. And talked about passing on Jalen Carter and trading that pick up to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are around 15th or 16th. I think that's going to be a pretty big haul if you want to move up from 16 to 9. So I'll be very, very curious to see what happens there. We could have some draft day Kevin Costner type moves, but we shall see. So speaking of that, Will Levis came out, and from my apartment, the rumors, I can't remember exactly the exact story, that he has spoken to someone in his family that he had been contacted by the Panthers and that he will be the number 1 overall pick going to the Carolina Panthers. And Vegas has, for whatever reason, responded, listening. He is now, I do believe, plus 400, plus 600, and plus 800 now. He is the second best odds to land the number 1 pick over Stroud. No, Young. Young, right? No, Stroud.
Young.
Yeah, Young. Well, we could talk. Yeah.
This is the thing, though. It's like there's not a clear cut number 1 pick. Like next year, you're gonna have Caleb Williams and Drake May, who are legitimately an unbelievable quarterback prospects. This year, it's like, okay, Bryce Young, but he's small. Can he make the throws? Can he win? Is he a winner? There's a lot of questions that are involved here, and I think that's one of the issues that we're having in this draft is that we didn't know it was Bryce Young. Bryce Young was never clear-cut number 1 overall until the past 2 weeks that the Panthers have pretty much gone on and said this. Now, if Levis has some kind of insider info from the Panthers saying he's going number 1 overall, good luck. God bless. I don't think he's going in the top 10, but I could be wrong as well.
Outside of the top 10, wow, that's a bold prediction.
I think he's going to drop a little bit. I would take AR over him.
Is he going to drop to the Bucks?
And then I don't know what we're going to do. Actually, and this is one of the things. I don't even care what we're going to do.
Honestly. I really don't anymore. I really don't.
I could care less, bro. I'll probably make an excuse to go out and watch the draft after my son's musical that he has tomorrow at school. Be like, oh, it's the draft. We're having a meet and greet for the uninformed fan at Kitty O'Shea's.
Actually, we could do that. If you are listening, come on out to Kitty O'Shea's down on Palm Parkway. We will be watching the NFL Draft live.
Yeah. You can watch the NFL Draft live with Tyson, Jeff, and probably the Bad Burrito Boys as well too. Who will probably be in attendance. Not for the meet and greet, but they'll just probably be in attendance, I feel like.
It's going to be an interesting day for sure. There's going to be a lot of trades. And to your point, it does kind of kick off the new season. Everybody gets excited again. We're getting closer and closer to the nitty-gritty. School's about to be out. OTAs are about to start. We're about to see some action, some pads, some hitting, and we're all excited because guess what? All of our teams are tied for the first place in our divisions at the moment. We all have the excitement. We shall see what happens.
It's like fantasy football draft day, You always think you have the best team. Your draft
I do, dude.
For me. Like every fantasy football draft I walk away from, I'm like, that was the worst draft I've ever done in my life. It's absolutely terrible.
You know, I
end up winning, but
yeah, exactly. And I walk away with everyone GM of the year put together on paper, just some of the most amazing teams, and then it never works out. Or
dichotomy of the different.
Or it takes because we only get 12 weeks in fantasy football, so it takes my team 6 weeks of sucking to get everything good, and then the last 6 weeks they do absolutely great, miss the playoffs, and then of course they go off into the playoff scenarios. Whatever, I don't know.
It's like your team is like young and they have to go out and whore around and get it out of their system.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean. But before they settle down and realize that they're in a good spot in their life, and they just want to be with one woman the rest of their life. That's pretty much what it is.
It's an interesting analogy right there. Very, very interesting analogy. Speaking of interesting analogies, we do have the Bad Burrito Boys on the line who have been censored a little bit today. They promise that they're going to be good Bad Burrito Boys, but we shall see. We're going to keep the fire. We're going to keep the tires. Let's bring them in. Paulie Parputz, Chad, how are we doing, the Bad Burrito Boys?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
Great. Did you hear your new intro?
No. Excellent. Yes, smashing. Bad Burrito Boys, keeping it clean.
Burrito Boys, little golf clap for you guys. Little golf clap. Good to have you.
I love it. Those emoji things, huh? Or whatever they're called.
Hey!
We're in production.
Here we are. Jeremy's got a new job.
Yes, he does. This
is going to be fun.
It's going to be a great time moving forward, boys. Just you wait. We're adding a lot of excitement into it. Well, we had the Zurich Classic last week. We'll do I'm going to turn it over to Jeff, let him pinpoint us here, get us through a recap of that. We'll see what happens the rest of the way here.
So, very interesting format that we have. In my opinion, a pretty terrible one. But hopefully we get match play back instead of whatever this garbage was this week. But it was also an opportunity to make some money. So, Chad, how did everything play out for you this week?
It played out pretty well. I had an outright win with Davis Riley and Nick Hardy.
Nice.
They really came through in the end. Made some big putts at the end there, and Bo Hostler and Wyndham Clark realized who they were and folded. So it made it a lot easier.
Man, it's always tough when you look at yourself in the mirror and realize that you're not that guy, huh? Pretty tough. Well, congratulations on the hit. It was a good one. I didn't realize how many weeks we do have in between going forward. What we have now. We're just kind of give another recap about last week. Hey, Paul, what did you think about the live turnout that we saw last week? It looked like out there in Australia, the crowd was rocking. It looked like there was some actually decent golf being played as well, too. Any thoughts about what happened with live this past weekend?
Yeah, I have a co-host here today with me who is not napping at the moment. But live is I don't know if everybody understands this, but live is founded. One of the founders of Live Golf is Greg Norman, probably the most famous Australian golfer of all time. The current most famous Australian golfer who just won a major this past season is Cam Smith. A lot to be excited about in Australia if you are a golf fan. The other thing I'll say is there hasn't been an event there in Australia that was golf relevant since I believe it was the President's Cup 2 iterations ago, and people were excited. Also pretty well known as far as I don't know if anybody remembers when the Olympics happened in Australia, but really well attended, really boisterous crowds, a lot of Aussies, all of that. So I think when you have a combination of live sporting event with national heroes, I think you're going to get it to be well attended. So
very fair points.
So Live is not going to put their golfers on difficult golf courses. They're not going to play U.S. Open style golf. So yeah, Taylor Gooch shot 2 of the best rounds in 36 holes, but he still only played 54 at the end of the week. And I think it's great. I think it gave the people who wanted to watch tape delayed golf something to see. I still think it's a good product. It is a fun thing to do. But we're going to talk about it the same way. At the end of the day, it's 48 golfers. Some of them don't belong playing, well, and maybe they do belong playing professional golf, but we're talking about the PGA Tour of the Americas, which will be happening. I don't know if you heard that is a merger between PGA Tour Canada,
I did see that.
The Mackenzie Tour, and PGA Tour Latin America are going to combine and play split schedules. So when the weather is good in Canada, they'll have Canadian events, and when the rest of the events will be held in Latin America. And that'll be a feeder tour into the Corn Ferry Tour, which is the feeder tour into the PGA Tour. So do I think Live is still exactly what I thought it was before? Yes. But I still believe that's a positive thing. It's an additional golf product. And I thought it was definitely their best attended event. I mean, it was bananas looking at those.
It's crazy. The
crowds. Yeah. It was great. So
vibes were very high. Speaking of golf in the Americas, we're looking at a golf tournament this week in terms of the Mexico Open, I believe, is what we're looking at this week, Paul.
Yeah, that's right. So the Mexico Open is.
Go ahead and break it down for us.
Yeah, it's west coast of Mexico, so it's
okay.
Vallarta. Vallarta Nuevo, I believe, or Nuevo Vallarta. I'm not sure. I don't speak Spanish. I'm the only person who took Spanish 8 times. But
I believe Nuevo means new.
Yeah, I got that much.
Okay.
I got past hola. But it is 74, over 7,400 yards. But it's par 71. It's got some of the longest par 5s and par 4s on tour. And it plays long. This is a bomber's course. John Rahm won it last year by 1. He was second in strokes gained off the tee. He can hit it a long way. The other part of this field is we joke a lot about like Valero and AT&T or the Amex, I think, and those events and the strength of field. This is not good. If John Rahm wasn't playing, he'd have 2 of the top 50 in the world. Alex Noren comes in at 50 in official world golf rankings, and he is in the field, which gives us 3 of the top 50 golfers in the world. So Tony Finau, John Rahm, and Alex Noren at 50. And then everyone else is fine people. They're great guys, and we've heard of some of them.
It's funny. It's funny you say that, Paul, because I brought up the odds while you're looking at. I'm looking at Gary Woodland at the 4th best odds to win the tournament.
Yeah, and Gary's a major winner.
Wyndham Clark.
But he hasn't necessarily played great. Wyndham Clark's a guy that we've mentioned on the podcast before, but we mentioned him in our group with the guys that are 150 to 1.
Absolutely. So, don't get me wrong. All good golfers, please don't get me wrong, out there in the golf world, don't get your panties in a feather. They can all beat me. Yes, I know that, but it's not the names that you normally would see in a PGA tournament.
No, and the total purse is, I think, 7.5 or 7.7 million. Jesus. And the winner is going to take home 1.3. You're still getting the 500 FedEx Cup points, and then you're going to get the 2-year exemption on tour. So it's for sure something to play for the guys who maybe haven't had that win yet. But you still have to beat John Rahm. So
I'd love to see what the Monday qualifier was like at that time.
He can also just beat himself too sometimes.
I can speak a little bit to that Monday qualifier. One of the local guys, he actually just took a job over at White Heron. Tour Pro. He's very famous for calling a penalty on himself in a playoff. I believe it was against Jim Furyk at Harbor Town. I think that's right.
Is this a trivia question for us right now?
I feel like it's coming.
His name is Brian Davis, and he lives in the area. Great guy, actually. Happen to know him.
Why White Heron?
That course needs help.
Well, that course, it does need help.
They've done a lot with it. Complete revamp, spent millions and millions of dollars on updating the turf. The greens have been all redone. But, they're also spending a lot of money on getting someone who is, pretty good at golf. Brian had a run a while back where he was at the top of leaderboards for quite a while. But now he happened to Monday qualify. His son's going to be on his bag this week. So something to see. Who knows? I mean, I hope he does great. So that's as far as the Monday qualifier goes. I'll let Chad talk about some of the guys we're looking at based on stats, and then we'll see if I can't corral this little munchkin.
All right. So, like Paul said, it's a bomber's course. He didn't mention, though, that it's exceptionally longer than you think because there are 5 par 3s to make it to par 71. So, therefore, you take into account that you have an extra par 3 that makes it even longer. So, we're looking at guys who can hit it far. Last year's top 15, I think all but 4 of them hit it over 300 yards average off the tee. So that's a big thing. Approaches from 200 plus are going to be a lot higher. I want to say it's like 35% of the approaches are coming from over 200 yards.
Chad, what is that for these guys? A 7-iron?
Yeah.
7, 6-iron?
6, 5 for
a
lot. I mean, like your big hitters are going to hit 7, like maybe Cam Champ, if he is hitting it straight, will hit a 8. But I mean, that's like your biggest hitters.
Not that's a big if for Cameron Champ.
Exactly. Which, I mean, I don't know if it's like the weather suits him or whatever, but he seems to do okay in South America or, warmer areas.
It's more the women, in my opinion. But
hey, maybe, mental state is a big part of the game, my friends.
I like to be surrounded by beauty.
I want to say he finished top 10 last year here, but I don't really remember. It's Cam Champ, so But yeah, other than that, hit it far, hit it close, make some putts. I mean, we're looking at pretty much Woodland, Rahm, and Finau. If one of those 3 don't take it, it'd be shocking. I do feel like, though, this week someone does get their first win on the PGA. I have a feeling about it.
Well, you've talked a few times about the difficulty to win back-to-back.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to have to worry about that because Davis Riley, he withdrew, so Nick Hardy, I don't think is in this field either. So,
yep.
The last time out, Rahm was 15th at RBC.
What do you think like
back-to-back tournament or back-to-back to
defend
your title?
Yes, he's talking about defending the title.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. But I mean, when you're John Rahm and you're number 1 in the world, and your next competitor is Finau and then Alex Noren, it gets a lot easier to defend.
I feel like we'll have a lot of same lineups in our golf pool this week. Just a hunch that I'm going to throw out there. Paul, anybody that we like that we're going to target this week?
Yeah. So guys like Patrick Rogers. If you're looking for a guy who can hit the ball far and has decent approach play, Joe Bramlett is a guy I've talked about before. Not a lot of win equity, but a guy who's going to be pretty inexpensive and still might deliver a top 10 or a top 20. I said Patrick Rogers. Smalley is a guy who we've mentioned. It's really like we're throwing darts.
Man, when Ches Reavie is the 13th best golfer in this pool by ranking,
you're gonna have John Rahm in your lineup.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna have Tony Finau in your lineup.
Nope.
And then and then everything else is a.
I'm going the opposite. I'm taking all the dogs. I'm taking all the dogs. Screw it.
Tyson's like, if I got to take 20 golfers in this thing, I would have this week.
But you probably could with the prices that
paid everybody.
You cannot get. I don't think you can get to the pool max.
No.
Like, oh yeah. You can't spend the money that you are allotted in the pool. Is what you're saying.
Right. So right. Ian will have all the top 10 guys right there.
Every one of them in the top 10 will be on Ian's team.
Yep, that's his picks.
Shout out to Ian Zeese. I can't wait to watch him scream at a television tomorrow when the Commanders are on the clock for whatever idiotic move he thinks they're going to do. They're still not sold yet, by the way, which is absolutely incredible to me.
Takes a long time. There's so much to
go
into it.
He said they had to wait for an owners meeting or something.
We're not talking about a yard sale. This is a
yard sale.
It's a $6 billion company.
Might as well
$7 billion company.
Write the
with
check.
A lot of employees.
Yeah, cut the check, bro. What are we talking about? You got the funds? You got the money? You know?
Write the check.
Get all the approvals from the other owners. I'm sorry, governors. We have to get it.
I think that's what he said he was waiting on. They just had to wait on the owners meeting because they had to vote for it. Like they're
but then that other guy came in and said, "Oh, I got $7 billion. Here, take this."
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, but then he's saying that they don't think he has the funds, and there's a whole other thing to it as well too. So.
I mean, hell, I could tweet him and say I'll offer 8.
There you go. I'd say get it going.
Maybe we'll get.
You're just gonna get a loan from Bezos, and then he'll say no.
You don't have to worry about where I get my funding. You don't have to worry about that.
I'm very worried about where the uninformed fan gets its funding from.
I will reach out to Bezos and it'll be a ghost investor, and then after it's all done, I'll bring him in.
What are you guys doing tomorrow? Are you guys going to be out for the draft tomorrow, boys?
Probably not.
It's tomorrow, Thursday.
Tomorrow's Thursday.
Yeah, maybe later.
Chad, you don't work tomorrow?
No.
Chad,
I get first round draft day off, I guess.
Chad, are you okay? You sound a little down today. You okay, buddy?
The Cowboys even have a pick this year?
Yeah, they picked 26th. They're going to take the best running back in the draft when he falls to him.
Who's that?
The kid from Alabama.
Bijan Robinson. He's from Texas.
Bijan Robinson, you think is falling to 26?
It's just a fantasy, Jeff. Okay.
You know, I heard an interesting stat.
Is nice though.
I heard it.
Is a monster, bro.
All right, Bijan Robinson is probably going to go to Philly, and then Chad's going to start talking like he does, and then we don't want to start that, so I'm just going to stop.
I heard an interesting stat out of Dallas the other day. Dallas has the longest tenured quarterback of any team in the NFL.
Yeah. It's
great,
NFL? Isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, in the NFL, Jeff. It's
Dak Prescott since like 2016.
They've had such an average quarterback too for so many years, and have still been.
If we've known anything about the Dallas Cowboys, is that they enjoy mediocrity. I mean,
have they ever had a stud quarterback other than Staubach?
Troy Aikman?
He was not a stud. He was just a game manager.
He was a Hall of Famer.
Because he won 3 titles.
You got credit for that.
He was.
Well, what is your requirement? Okay, hold on. What is your requirement for a stud then? If somebody that's won 3 titles and a Hall of Fame quarterback doesn't qualify, is it Tom Brady or bust?
They always had the best offensive. They always had the best offensive line. They always had a great defense when he won. I mean, I enjoyed it when he was there, but I mean, he's not gonna. Did he ever go and win games in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter? No, because they were always up so much.
Sure, he did.
Yeah, wait a minute. You're gonna knock a quarterback because their team had already scored so many points that they didn't need to do a 2-minute offense to win a game?
It's because he didn't turn the ball over.
Well, I know I'm not the football guy in this conversation, but I think what Chad was talking about was in relation to the draft, which is relevant because it's tomorrow. Dak was like a 3rd rounder.
Exactly.
Aikman was
top.
Where did he get picked?
I don't know. We talked about this a little bit though before the show. First round, second round. Tom Brady was 6th round. It doesn't matter. The amount of first round picks that aren't even in the NFL anymore is mind boggling. It's all a crapshoot. So you can say that this person's a 3rd rounder, or 1st rounder, or 4th rounder. As long as they win, that's the end of the day. That's all that matters, right?
It's also why it was a great trade for the Jets, because what are you actually giving up? You're giving
nothing.
a thought that somebody could be good if you draft them correctly and evaluate them correctly.
Troy Aikman, 15 fourth quarter comebacks, 20 game-winning drives in his career.
Okay. How
20 how many games did he play?
Exactly. He played 170, so what? 5%?
You guys are out of control. Are you sure you're not Bears fans?
Paul,
Where's
what do you?
Where's stats guy?
He's no Pat
we're
Mahomes.
just
He's no
stats guys.
A-Rod. He's no.
There
Tom
was no
Brady,
Pat
like-
Mahomes before Pat Mahomes.
Their feelings don't
Exactly.
care about. Wait,
I'm
No.
just saying, like,
I don't
when
know
you
how
think
that
of
works.
top-notch quarterbacks, are you thinking Troy Aikman? No.
In
You
his
never said
era,
his name.
yes. In his era, yes.
Oh, okay, in his era, but what era
Oh,
are we in now?
God.
Now we're in the era of, don't even get me started with the NBA.
The game's completely
See?
changed. You used to be able to completely obliterate a wide receiver going across the middle in Troy Aikman's day. If you had
You
the
could
same
obliterate the
rules,
quarterback too. That's why he's retarded now.
retarded. Hey,
we
Paul. Paul, what do you think about? Yeah, well, we went 5 minutes. Paul, what
What's
do you
that?
think about? Obviously, you're a Patriots fan, correct?
That is, yeah, I am.
What are your
Yes.
thoughts on now, from what it appears, being the worst team in that division?
It's so as far as quarterback talent goes, I believe that we're yet to see Tua get on the field.
Huh? Mike
But-
White's the backup
I'm about to
as
say,
well.
we don't know if your quarterback in New England is
Yeah,
better
I-
than Miami's backup.
I
Tom
I would
Brady's
take-
right around the corner in Miami if he needs to be.
I would take Zappy over Mike White, but
He is on call, Tom Brady, right now.
it's an organizational thing.
100%.
The Patriots will likely finish last in the division this year,
Yeah.
and they probably still win 6 games and maybe not one in the division.
Yeah.
So it's all right. Are they going to be not great this year? Yeah, but did I go literally half my life with them having a 50% chance to make the Super Bowl? Yeah. So if we're just talking about, like, I get it. Somebody else has to be good for a little while. It wasn't gonna be forever, but 20 years was a hell of a run. So
Unbelievable.
I'll wait.
How long does Belichick stick around during this process?
I think until he breaks Shula's record.
How many
long does he
games?
have to do that?
How many more is that?
It's like 3 seasons.
Okay.
Oh,
And then by
wait,
that time,
five
his
now.
Wait, it
Why
might be 6 seasons now.
I was gonna say at 6
the
games.
numbers have been adjusted
Yeah.
analytically.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
long enough to make his son a head coach as well. I feel like that's just going to be a very easy transition for them.
Have you seen Steven Belichick?
There's no
Yeah,
way
I
that
have.
dude's getting a head
That
coach
guy's
job.
not getting a head coaching job.
You don't
No
think so?
shot.
So,
Hell
What if
no.
he cuts the
No.
mullet?
He
Cuts
might
the
get
mullet,
He
you
might
know,
get a college head coaching job in
gentleman's
Mississippi.
haircut. You know.
Yeah, he'll be the college coach of, like,
He can go take over for Billy Napier at the old Miss.
I mean,
we'll,
you got to
we'll-
think
the
about it, though.
Raging
we'll watch
Cajuns.
Like
He'll
Lane
coach on
Kiffin
Wednesday
and Monty,
nights.
you know. Yeah, Lane Kiffin was Monty Kiffin's son at one point, you know.
Nah, dude.
People were like, oh, that guy is just an OC.
He's good. He'll be the head coach of the Raging Cajuns or something like that. And he'll work his way up. No shot. He
Yeah.
goes straight to the NFL.
Down in the bayou.
Steven Belichick, we'll be watching him coach on Wednesday nights long before we'll be coaching on Sunday
So,
afternoons.
Paul, I hate to burst this bubble. Belichick is at 298 games. Shula's at 328.
Yeah. So it used to be.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Wait,
Is that total? Is that? Wait.
That
So
means
he's
not good
only-
playoffs.
He's only 30 games behind him.
So that's
Oh.
5 more years.
No, no, that's you're no, it won't be 5 years.
Why would it not? If you win
That's
6
only-
games a
that's-
year,
That's 6.
I'll
That's-
take.
that's
I'll
regular
have it.
season only. Regular season
I'll
only.
take-
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So
I'll
why?
take-
So
I'll
if you
take-
count playoffs, he's
Yeah,
already
but-
won.
Now we have 17 games.
Yeah,
Season.
they'll go 6-11.
They still
I'll
win
take-
more than 6.
Under 5 years right now. Under 5 years, Belichick breaks the record.
Oh, you shaking on it? Because I'm not going to remember this 5 years from now.
I don't-
It's recorded for the internet, Chad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
My kids will hold me accountable. Don't worry, Chad.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It's going to be a very interesting thing. We're going to wrap it up on the golf over here. So obviously, it's a very soft field this week. The boys just say it's top heavy. Throw all the money at the top. See what happens. Paul come out and said that some dark horse is going to ride on in and steal this away from John Rahm. So will he steal it away from John Rahm, or will John Rahm lose it? Tune in Thursday.
Paul, was there any dark horse that you had, by the way? I know we got caught off on an NFL tangent and went off the wagon there.
Well, first of all, I do not recommend betting a 3-1 John Rahm.
No.
So I know we might have mentioned. Did you mention any names?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
I don't think he did.
Two. I mentioned two. I don't think Chad mentioned a name.
All right, well, let's do this. Chad, give us your picks. Give us a dark horse, and then Paul, give us your pick, and then give us your dark horse.
A guy that I know Paul has been mentioned before is Steven Yeager. He's got a decent shot here. He's one of the South America guys also. Another one is Akshay Bhatia. Kid, he just he hits birdies. I don't know how, but that's what he does. And then a long dark horse would be Martin Trainer.
Who was your first pick?
Steven Yeager.
Steven Yeager. There he is.
Yeager bomb.
I couldn't find
Yeager
him.
bombs.
Couldn't find him on the list. I had to make sure I highlight it. So when I go back and do my research for my picks this week, I have to make sure that I analyze your picks because you provide very good information that I don't normally see.
Gotcha.
So Paul, who do you got this week?
Yeah, we got a Wu brother in there, Brandon Wu. He's got a shot. And then
last year, right?
What's that?
I think he came in second here last year, right?
He had all the metrics last year that we'd like to see. The only thing he didn't do well was his around the green stuff. So I think if he can clean up a little up and down stuff, then he's got a really good shot.
Yeah, because he was only one back last year, and if he wasn't doing that, like lost a couple strokes there, then boom, he beat Tom.
Yeah. So, and another guy that we talked about is Will Gordon.
Oh yes, a coastal windy guy.
Yeah.
Commissioner Gordon. All right.
Oh, guys, real quick, just got an update that Mr. Z's might go crazy again. Chase Young, they're not picking up his fifth-year option.
That's not good.
Just Commander stuff.
I mean,
we're breaking news. Good for us.
I mean, yeah,
Hey,
but on the same token, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think you still pick it up as a cheap option, but the guy hasn't played hardly at all.
Yeah, I would pick it up though, even if you don't think you're going to keep him. You want it as like leverage over the guy.
Well, yeah, but you got to figure maybe he's already had the conversation of the same thing. Well, if you put me on the fifth year, I'm not playing. Either I get a deal or I'm not going to play. That same mentality. But then, like you said, like we've talked numerous times before, you sign the fifth-year option and you trade him. Then the team that you trade him to has the control. But again, he's probably going to go the same thing. I don't know. Whatever.
Let's do it for leverage.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Who knows what they do anymore with these guys and all their talks behind doors and stuff and guarantees that, hey, if you sign this now and we'll take care of you later.
I'm developing that shit. I've talked about this numerous times. I've been talking about it for years. I'm developing that. It's going to be a Netflix series.
Chad, what do you think about LeBron's performance the other night?
The 22-20?
Yeah.
I mean, it was good.
I told you last night it's the most passive I've ever seen him play offensively.
Yeah, which, I mean, luckily they didn't blow it. They still won in overtime, but
yeah, they tried to. Well, it wasn't for D'Angelo Russell.
I know, right? D'Lo coming back in. Do you consider that getting 40 on Dylan Brooks because it's 22-20?
Absolutely not. I know Shaq said that.
I just want LeBron one game this series to just go all out on Dylan Brooks and shut his.
He already did. He already shut him up.
I don't know if it'll be like.
He's got to not punch him in the groin.
Yeah. By the way, some of these flagrant calls now are just absolutely absurd, and I understand they're trying to make it a point of emphasis, but it's ruining the game. You're taking you're like swaying competitive balance off of a basketball play. The guy's reaching for the ball. He actually grabbed the ball, just the wrong ball.
Oh my God.
Dylan Brooks for you.
Oh my goodness.
Tyson.
Yes.
Getting back to one spot in golf, and then I'll let y'all wrap. Is I know you like the over 40 club in your lineup. If I'm not mistaken, a guy, Jonathan Bird, has been on the tour for a very long time and actually has played well in more vacation style places.
I do love
tropical
journeymen
climate.
in tournaments like this. With the superstars are out, the journeymen tend to take over a little bit.
Yeah, so there's that would be because Luke Donald. I don't know if he's in the Podrick Harrington and the.
I don't think
Brian
they're.
Gay. Is Brian Gay in this?
I don't think.
Yeah, I
those
told you.
guys.
Brian Gay's the Monday qualifier. He's in. He's over
I thought
40.
you said Brian Davis.
Oh, Brian Gay. Yeah, nope, that's right.
Brian Gay. He's like the guy that always wins these weird.
You know, just going through. Look, I'm seeing Francisco Molinari sitting at plus 500. You know, I like me a little Francisco Molinari.
He doesn't hit the ball long enough. He's not a long hitter though.
We're just talking about old people right now, bro.
He won Bay Hill.
Yeah,
I got you, Tyson.
Hit
Go
me.
bet the live. Go bet the live this week. It's Lee Westwood's 50th birthday week, and Liv will probably fix it to where he can win on his 50th birthday because they do crap like that.
How dare you?
How dare you slander?
They want
Get
the
out.
good story. Hey, he won on his 50th birthday because
Here we go.
Cool.
Chad's
Where
always
do you
gonna.
find live odds at.
Chad's always gonna find a way
I
to
got
get
live
muted every week, isn't he? He's just gonna find
What did I do this time?
You have live odds?
talking shit about Liv.
I've heard you say the S word twice this week, buddy.
Shit's okay.
I'm not approving that.
Shit's
Trying
okay.
to keep it clean. We're trying to keep it clean over here.
Trying to keep it clean.
One bad word.
We're saying, oh man,
What?
we got Fred in the booth.
All right, well, we're gonna wrap
Jeremy's
it up.
got to stop with these things.
Good job
whatever
with
the
the,
sounds he's doing.
Baba
what-
Booey.
Yeah, I don't know about the quack though. That one's not gonna make it. But
Baba Booey. Fred
Jesus.
Norris taking over.
Oh my God.
all right, boys, we appreciate it. Look, Chad, we'd love to see you out tomorrow night. A little meet and greet for the uninformed fan for our NFL draft. So it's going to be at Kitty O'Shea's Irish Pub and Buffalo Bar.
I've heard of it.
If
I'll have
you-
to see if I can get out on a non-work night.
Hey, all I'm saying is if T-Bone's coming out, it should be a party, right? If
Let
I'm
me just
getting
say this.
if I'm getting
If
out of the
Tyson's-
house,
Yeah, if Tyson's coming out, he'll be gone by 10. So
I was about to say, like,
the Bears- the
bedtime
Bears
is like when
pick
the
it-
draft
yeah.
starts, isn't it?
yeah, the Bears picking the top 10. We have a show to do the next day. I'm gonna tell you this right now. And this will be like a call. Like Tyson will make this call at like 10:15 and be like, I don't know if we're doing the show today. You know.
that's highly inaccurate. That's
That is
highly
very
inaccurate. As long
Doesn't
as
need to be like,
Jeffrey keeps the fireballs away from me, we'll be perfectly fine.
I drink Reposado now, bro.
Jeff in the funnel.
Okay.
Oh, Jeff was on the I can't say you money. Last night
Yeah,
with
that's
Reposado.
That's as soon as I saw it, Reposado was like, oh, guess who's flaunting the money bags around.
Hey, man, nothing like a good Casamigos Repo, beautiful caramel, smoky notes. Like, it doesn't even taste like tequila. You don't need a chaser, warm, just like
Can't
your
take it
movie
with
star.
you. Can't take it with you.
That's
More
right.
power
That's
to you,
right.
Jeff.
YOLO. Well, thank you very much, Bad Burrito Boys, for coming in, giving us your drop on this week's tournament. We look forward to all of the players that you've mentioned in contention on Sunday.
We'll talk to you next week. Thanks, guys.
Later, boys.
See you guys later.
How dare Chad say that Liv would fix an event like it's not good competition? I don't know. That's going to do it here for the Uninformed Fan. We got the draft tomorrow night. What are the Bears going to do? What are the Bucks going to do? That's a big question here. There's a lot of rumors that the Bucks could be trading up to get a quarterback again. And if that's the case, I'm starting the hashtag free Trask. Starting it out.
If I have a question for you. If the Bucks trade up to get a quarterback, will you no longer be a Bucks fan?
I'm already dwindling with Baker Mayfield. I'm hanging on by a thread. I'm telling you that right now. If I could have got out of my season tickets, I would have.
You know what's so funny is that, and this is how I know, I was out Monday night, right? We had some birthdays, and they wanted just cheap bar food, whatever, but they wanted a little nicer bar food, so we ended up going to Twin Peaks, right? So we go to Twin Peaks, and we're all sitting there, and we're watching, games, everything's going on. We're there for quite a while, hanging out, and the Lightning are on, and they're playing the Maple Leafs, and the Lightning are up. What was it, 4-1?
Yes.
The score was. and man, the Lightning fans are just going berserk. And I remember just thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm so annoyed right now. And like that's how like I know I am not a Lightning fan because they were up 4-1, and these Lightning fans were so annoying that I was like, I hope the Maple Leafs come back, just because you guys are a bunch of idiots.
You know, I have another
Sure
another fantasy baseball group that I play with, and a lot of those guys live in the Tampa area, and they were at the game, and they started the Tampa Bay chat on the group text, and I go, guys, no, and then oh boy, that chat was firing at the end of the night though. Whew.
Oh man, terrible. And then like it's the second lead they've blown in back-to-back games, and now they go back to Toronto tonight, right?
No,
tonight they go back, or is
tomorrow? They play tomorrow, and I mean
tomorrow.
It's bad, dude. It's bad. The Lightning are going to get bounced. I don't know. We'll see. We'll tune in. We'll check it out. Hopefully your team does what you want to do on the draft. Go ahead.
We will say this, though. It would be very fitting of a Toronto Maple Leafs team to blow a 3-1 series lead if we're going to talk about Canadian hockey and the history of it. Happens all the time, so we'll see what happens.
I believe so. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys again on Friday. We'll recap the NBA, the NHL playoffs. We'll see what's going on with the PGA Tour and how that is turning around. And we'll recap the NFL draft, see what your team did, see what your team didn't like. Shoot us a comment on YouTube, Twitch, whatever platform that you'd like to use to follow us on. And we'd love to discuss your comments and get your takes on it on Friday's show. Everybody, have a super day.
Be great.
Every time.